Hey, it's Al, and I'm here at the Kelly Writers House in West Philadelphia on the left bank of the Schuylkill River. And I am in the room here, the Arts Cafe, with Lainey Brown. And I'm also with the unseen Zach Cartner. Oh, look, not unseen so much, Zach Cartner, Chris Martin. I mean, usually during final words, I ask these two guys to say something, offer final words. So I'm going to do that, guys. So you'll be on the spot. Most importantly, we want to hear your plural, your final words. Those of you ModPo people everywhere, I've heard from many people staying up late, getting up early. So call us at 610-616-3208. Try to call, keep calling. Chris will, he'll just juggle it. Just call, and we'll try to get you in so you can speak your final words. We also have collected some final words from the final words thread. A couple of announcements, and then we'll just get started. Each of the TAs and those of us here in the room will also offer our final words. I've got a final word from Anna, who is teaching her high school students, but managed to step away for a few minutes to type out a final word. I'd like to ask Lily to look at Twitter, though I'm aware, Lil, that there won't be a lot of action there because I think most of the action is going to be in the chat. But will you do that, Lily? So, okay, thank you. So that's, you want to use the hashtag ModPoLive for that. And if you can, use @ModPoPen. It's a way for us to basically record that it's been done easily. And for the YouTube chat, Allie, will you do that? And Max? Thank you. So chat away for the YouTube. It looks like we got somebody on the phone already. I just wanted to make a couple of announcements before we get started. First of all, SlowPo starts tomorrow or today. And Lainey and I are going to meet soon, and Lily is involved in this discussion, and we need to We'll let you know what kind of SlowPo mini courses we'll be offering. But there's all kinds of other things that happen during SlowPo. People gather. There's the global study group. We will facilitate that by announcing it occasionally. We might do a webcast. The team here hasn't really talked about that. Chris, are you up for doing a spring webcast sometime? Here's thumbs up. We'll do a webcast sometime. Not sure what that'll be like, but it'll be fun. You can look for special discussion threads that we create. The team will be traveling to Los Angeles, California. Our trip, take this note down for those of you on the West Coast, February 8th through 13th. We will be hosting at least one, probably two ModPo events, maybe even three in combination with some Writers House events. And if you are West Coast, I know Denny is going to drive down from Seattle. Go, Denny! Put some new tires on that car. So if you're anywhere out west, please plan to be in LA. What a great city it is, especially in February. Maybe only in February, but anyway. And just one more announcement. Save the date. We don't have a date, actually, but save the season. We are going to deliberately, belatedly celebrate the 10th anniversary of ModPo a year late, using COVID as an excuse. We're going to have an in-person get-together here at the Kelly Writers House in the spring of 2023. A little more than a year from now, we'll let you know. So plan on, book your tickets. Magdalena Castani, you got to come from Greece. Yeah. Yosuke Tanaka, you got to come from Tokyo. Riham, where is Riham? I think
that's a good question.
In Saudi Arabia, maybe? I'm so sorry, Riham, I don't know where you are. You're in the Middle East. Please come. So there you go. Anna is teaching high school and couldn't be with us this year and has a final word and just sends greetings. Gabby just got married and is still celebrating, so can't join us today. Molly sends regards. So Molly is really leaning into her amazing yoga teaching in LA and couldn't be with us this year, but we have a pretty good commitment that Molly will rejoin us next year. Kamara Brown, whom we all adore, life kind of got in the way. She had all kinds of other commitments, really wanted to do ModPo. I'm really hopeful that Kamara Brown will be back. Emily Harnett also teaches high school. She's AWOL from ModPo, but she's not AWOL from our hearts. She's in our lives here in Philly. So those of you who are big Emily Harnett fans, do not despair. Emily's out there. And Allie's been getting to see Emily. Hey, Allie, how many times have you seen Emily in the last few months?
Like once, I believe.
She's AWOL in your life as well. Okay. But anyway, she's out there, and Amaris is finishing up law school. I doubt that when Amaris joins some kind of law firm, there won't be a lot of time for ModPo, but we are very much in touch with Amaris. Okay, so here we go. We have someone on the phone. Let's bring that person up for a final word. And then at some point, we will be turning to TA's intern for their final words.
Yeah, Al, so I just want to say we usually get a lot of calls on this day. I can only screen one call at a time.
Yeah,
so,
why is that, Chris? Don't you have the capacity
I'm working on getting a call center set up, but so far I can only do one call at a moment. So if you're trying to get through, please just call back when the line frees up, and I'll try to get you in. But to start, we have Allison B. on the line.
All right. Allison B., how are you?
Hey. Al, well, I have to say, my final words are my only words because I've been, talk about AWOL, I have been amiss from ModPo, but I've been lurking. I've been watching things. And what I wanted to say was that, you know, if you hang around ModPo long enough, it's just part of your life. It's just part of what you do in your day-to-day. I see Alana Shaw in the YouTube chat. I talk to her like once every couple of weeks, and we lament about how much we wish we could spend more time on ModPo, but we get distracted, you know?
Yes,
and I think the best part of ModPo is coming back. And the fact that I can call into final words, even though I've been amiss to enjoy the deliciousness that's live on ModPo. I'm happy to know you, Al, and I'm happy to know everybody, and this continuing, evolving, beautiful space that exists in the interwebs and beyond.
Thank you. And you've been here to the Writer's House, and I've been on your podcast, which was fun. And let's ballyhoo that podcast. Say the name of it.
I'm actually on public radio, KDRT 95.7 FM in Davis, California. But you can check it out at kdrt.org. And I'll drop a link to Al's interview in the YouTube chat after I get off the phone.
Great. Thank you, Allison. Love you so much. And I know you'll be with us. Maybe join us again next year. We'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right.
Keep it going, y'all.
All right. That's Allison, longtime CTA and pal. So thank you so much for calling. The number is 610-616-3208. I'm going to surprise Lily by calling on Lily first for a final word. Are you ready, Lily, or do you want to pass?
You know that I'm ready.
Okay.
And the 10th final word, I got this. I could have written it in my sleep. The thing that I've been thinking about the most this year is mentorship. And after so many years of ModPo and my work at Writer's House, which is the same amount of time. This is my 10th year working at Writer's House as Al's assistant. Just thinking about what a joy it is to teach in this kind of environment where we're kind of all teaching mentors to one another. And I feel very grateful to have so many great models for great teaching and great conversation convening in all of my colleagues and also all of our amazing CTAs, and even to see repeat ModPo participants come back after a few years and be so skilled themselves, even though they're not taking on any official capacity as teachers or mentors in their role in the course. So that's really my final thought, is being grateful at not just what the poems that we study have to say about teaching and pedagogy, which is obviously plenty, but just feeling grateful for this structure of 10 years and all the mentorship that's included in it for teaching and thinking for myself, and just also what we've been able to host for everyone who participates.
Thank you, Lily. Speaking of feeling grateful, that's, of course, how we feel about you pretty much all the time. non-disruptively, just always continuously feeling grateful. And you referred to, without saying the term co-teacher or co-convener, but that's a word we started to use around here. When we have a class, we try to think of it as a co-convening, and that certainly is what ModPo has taught us. Thank you, Lily Applebaum. Snaps for Lily out there, and make sure that the YouTube chat is full of snaps for Lily Applebaum, 10 years of ModPo. Thank you. So speaking of CTAs, I'm going to just mention some of them as a shout-out. They are the least heralded, the most unheralded group of ModPo. They just make the whole thing work. So we have someone on the phone. I'm going to turn to that in a second, followed by Kate Colby for a final word. But first, some of the CTAs. This is not all of them. This is just some of those who've been particularly active or particularly supportive, but there are many others I should name and won't name, but rather than not name any of them, thought I would name a few. First of all, Anthony Watkins, who is the most active of all, maybe Sanjeev and Anthony tie for most active, with MC coming in there somewhere. Anthony just does everything. Thank you, Anthony, as always. MC Katniss, the aforementioned. Bill Spear, quietly been involved with ModPo, I want to say 9 or 10 years. Always an amazing force in reviewing essays. Denny Stern, of course, is everywhere. I don't know how Denny does it. Mandana Chaffa, of course, is so fundamental to the ModPo community. It's just really doing so many good things. Julie Naslund, Alana Shaw, Lisa Geisler, Sharon Wells, of course, Riham El Ashri, Sanjeev, who's really more active on the Facebook side sometimes than in the ModPo forums, but is there. Such a good guy and a friend. T. De Los Reyes, I'm going to actually, I hope, have time to read something that T has written. Always there, a little less active this year because life has really gotten in the way. Mary Barnes, Suzanne Margono, Nicole Braun, Holly York, Mark Bauch, Padmasini Ramji, Meredith Lederer, unbelievable participant in this whole thing. Paige Paulsine in L.A., I hope we'll see you in L.A. in February, Paige. Magdalena Castani, Elaine Ruth White, Wes Freeman, and so many others. Thank you to the CTAs. We love you. And Lainey and I will be in touch with you to recruit you again to do it, and some new ones as well. Chris, who do we have on the phone?
We have Mimi Shapiro calling from Lancaster.
Oh, yes. Mimi Shapiro, how are you?
I'm great, Al. I'm so happy to be able to get through on your busy phone line this morning.
Oh, it's great to hear your voice. You know, you may have been part of the first crew ever to come to the Writer's House for Final Words. We used to have a whole room full of people. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, before COVID.
Long before COVID. Yeah. And you know what? I screwed up, Mimi. I have your lovely, lovely book, and I forgot to bring it in today. I was going to... if you were going to call, I was going to hold it up. But I just want to say that Mimi is such a wonderful artist and makes her books and is just... Mimi, is there any way that... Can you just say briefly how people can find your books? I guess contact you directly? Is that how it is?
Yeah, you would have to send me an email. Can I give you my email address?
You can, if you don't mind all these people getting your email. That's fine.
Okay, I don't know any other way to do it.
Okay.
It's Mimi, M-I-M-I, Arts, A-R-T-Z, the numeral 2, @gmail.com.
Great. Everybody will want a copy of the most recent
poetry.
book. Yes, visual poetry. Do you have a final thought today? And thanks for calling.
My final thought is I am so happy to see ModPo continuing. It's really important because we all have poetry in our souls, and we need to spread it around the planet.
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you so much. Have fun in Lancaster and come to Philly. Don't be a stranger after this pandemic starts to recede.
Okay, I will. Thanks, Al,
all right,
for taking
Mimi,
my
take
call.
care.
Love you guys.
Love
Bye.
you too. Wow, that's Mimi Shapiro. I've known her for a decade. Okay, we're going to turn to Kate Colby. But Kate, forgive me, I'm just going to quote one of the final words from the thread. This is from Ziva Yariv, who was in ModPo for the first year. Ziva writes, in August 2021, after 38 years as a high school teacher in Israel, I retired and was looking for purpose, beauty, and meaning. I'm glad to say I found it all and more in ModPo. I can't thank you enough, Al, the mentors, the CTAs he means, TAs, and everyone at ModPo for creating the best Coursera course. Although there are thousands of participants from all over the world in ModPo, I felt a part of a community, and that what people say and what I say matters. Thank you, Ziva, for finding us, and congratulations on your retirement. 38 years of teaching. Wow, that's a long time. Kate Colby, wow, this was your first go-round officially as a TA. So I hope that during your final words you'll say what that's been like, because you've been sort of part of ModPo on and off, but this was the first time all the way through.
Yeah, I've been hanging around here since 2013, and it's such a privilege to be a TA. I feel like I learned so much from the discussion and the new degree to which I was participating in it this year. And I want to say thank you to all of my regular office hour participants, particularly Martin, who showed up every week, Matt, Nicholas Stern, who I just recently realized is the same person as the renowned Denny.
That's right.
But I'm just going to keep calling him Nicholas, as I have. And Hannah Linden early on, she brought a lot to our discussions. It's been some rousing conversation. And I also just wanted to speak to the course and this fall as a writer, because I know there are so many writers out there among our participants. And after a long pandemic-induced lag in my own writing, I just this fall got back to it and have been writing like crazy. And I know it's because the regular engagement with poetry, and particularly these poems that I've been encountering over and over and newly for 9 years now with this group, this kind of ever morphing group, has really been an inspiration and just sort of keeps my writing brain moving. So I'm grateful for that. And I also hope that that's an experience for others out there, that, you know, there's never, the poems are bottomless. We can continue coming back to them and finding more. And I think a lot about Susan Howe and my Emily Dickinson. And I said this in one of my office hours recently, that she could have kept writing that book ad nauseum for years, and volumes and volumes and volumes of it, because you can never get to the bottom of that one poem. And so I am having that experience, and I know many others are too.
That's wonderful. You're having that experience in the poems, but also ModPo kind of generates that constant variation so that it becomes like the poem you keep going back to. Kate Colby, thank you so much. We just cherish your involvement in this course, and so glad that you took on the role as a TA. Really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so snaps for Kate Colby. Yep. Okay, Max in Berlin, snapping from Berlin. You can feel it all the way this way. We have someone on the phone, and let's bring that person up. Then I'm going to quote another final word from the forums.
Yes, indeed. The phone is ringing off the hook. We have on the line right now CJ calling from Washington State.
My God, CJ Prince?
Yes.
Hi, CJ.
Am I talking to... Hi, Al. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to talk to you. You are one of the most active ModPoers of anyone. You know that, right?
No, I don't know that. I can't believe that. It's just so fabulous to be with you all, and I love how I just love everything about ModPo, but how open it is and how you can't be wrong. And I have written out my final words.
Please.
Or if it's okay, I
That's
can
absolutely
read
okay.
that.
Feel free to read your final words. Yep.
Okay. Once I followed ModPo in 2020 on my cell phone. Hard to see, impossible to essay, yearning for connection. A feather flew over the circuit, and I saw it all from above or below with earthworms and moles. I wrote my first poem in 4th grade. Oh, those rhyming days lingering until until later. The serious dive into college poetry, lingering with William Carlos Williams, Robert Frost, and John Chiardi. No way to close look, to do anything but try and answer the test questions as memorized. I far preferred the poets of English literature, or maybe it was just Chaucer or Keats and Shakespeare. Sounds like a traveling group of Commedia dell'arte. Chaucer, Keats, and Shakespeare. On and off courses, writing classes, and starting writing groups, at least 5 in Colorado. And no one was dedicated. The Puget Sound of Salish Sea is populated with poets, festivals, open mics. I found my home. Now I am in a writing critique group and facilitate a Natalie Goldberg type of writing practice and host an open mic. And So now, 2021, I have a laptop in my second pandemic year, moving from a PC to a Mac world, a new world full of, now what have I done? Because I don't get this at all. The comfort of a keyboard and my return to ModPo. I didn't do too well with, I'm going to skip some of this with SlowPo, but I'm excited about SlowPo. And you don't need to hear about the flood, okay? So September, finding Walt Whitman with new eyes. I read with Ray Maxwell and 2 men in Russia and 1 in Montreal, and we read the 52 cantos. It was just amazing. I had a whole new understanding. And I became a Whitmanian that week. I get a bit irked with Emily Dickinson. Really, must we work that hard? Often I see different things and are discussed, but that is not bothersome with 65,000 students or so. I don't even know how many. I'm willing to do the work to unearth the close reading with a fine brush like an archaeologist. So I'm on a teeter-totter with a proto-modernist. Walt on one side, Emily on the other. I'm in the middle, shifting this way and that. Okay, let's see if I'm going to skip some of this to be after ModPo. Okay. Oh, so then I will have to study autopoiesis in cognition by Verylaw and Maturana, The Last Avant-Garde by David Lemon, the Zukowski era, Modernity, Margins, and the Avant-Garde by Ruth Jenninson. A Year from Monday by John Cage. They were all sitting around me because I really have to have a page, a physical page, and I don't have a printer. So I just, and I'm sleeping with Sid Corman. He's in my bed, on my bed. I'm excited about all of this, and I'm just skipping through here. Oh, Alice invites me for a glass of wine while Gertrude is out. I ask if she ever used one of Emily's recipes. Kitchen people are so secretive. Once I ate 2 of Alice's hashish brownies and spent the night on the floor. My in-laws. That was... Now, this is just a whole list of poets. Can I go on?
No, CJ, go to the end. We want to hear the end. Can you go to the end of your statement and read it for us?
Okay. So, yes.
Thank you.
And ModPo open mic. How fabulous is Ray Maxwell and the words we read and share. I will be 81. I told my sons I couldn't die yet. I had too much to learn and grok. He told me not to use the word grok. It's 260s. To 1960s, like the title of your book. But,
CJ, I love this. In fact, we have a little chat going among the TAs. They all love it too. And we love your participation. And you're on the West Coast, aren't you? Somewhere, San Francisco?
No, I'm in Bellingham, Washington, 20 minutes from the border.
Oh, you're way up. You are on the West Coast, but you're way up there. So come meeting us in Los Angeles. Maybe the son who said you couldn't use the word grok will fire up the old car and drive you down to see us in Los Angeles. Would that be fun? I really would like to.
I think it'd be fabulous. It all depends on the pandemic.
Okay, well, I would really like to see you in person, and we are all so grateful that you're part of the scene and hope that you will come back year after year. Is that a deal?
It's absolutely
okay.
a deal.
All right, and don't hesitate to write. Don't hesitate to write to us directly at modpo@writing.upenn.edu if you need anything. We'd like to support you. Thank you, CJ. Snaps for CJ, everybody.
Thank you, Alan, everybody.
Bye-bye. Tell your son to take ModPo. See ya. That's CJ Prince. Amazing participant and connected with Ray. I'm going to quote from Ray Schrempf, and then I'm going to turn to Max for a final word, okay? And we probably get another call, 610-616-3208. Ray Schrempf, who has joined at least some of the office hours and is really a wonderful participant. Hi, Ray. I know you're watching today. Ray writes, ModPo's collaborative approach really exemplifies its theory that the way to get at things is through many voices, rather than through a single authoritative voice. It turns on its head an approach that you might find in a conversation book wherein an authority is closely questioned in order to try to settle a thing directly. A collaborative close reading really does the trick. Thank you, Ray, for getting the pedagogy, for understanding the pedagogy that underlies ModPo. Really appreciate that. That's Ray Schrempf. Now we're going to turn to Max, and then there's someone on the phone, no doubt. Max, hey there, buddy.
Hey, Al. Since I'm monitoring the YouTube chat by way of a final word, I'm going to start by quoting just a few things
Please do.
that are there. Then I'll do some quick shout outs. The conversation has been very lively so far. I know that this is not my usual time for my update, but rather my final word, but I thought I would give you the update nevertheless. I wanted to quote something that Beth C. wrote very early on. Something I learned this time around: this community is what you choose to make of it. First time I approached it like a college class where I'd be graded and worried about too much. And then one and only Dan Bergman also chimed in with his final words. ModPo has been a germinator of all my occupations, and if someday I get to spread my hands wide to gather paradise, it will be because of all of you. And that's Dan
amazing,
with
Dan.
An excellent final word.
Hi, Dan. That's beautiful.
And I think that what these two final words from Beth and Dan speak to in particular, and I think that's what a lot of the final words tend to speak to, and the formal ones we give here, the informal ones we give that are given in the YouTube chat, is just the way that ModPo opens up these different pockets of possibility within the somewhat difficult to navigate networks of social media and the internet and so forth. I mean, you can really find what you need from this sort of diffuse community, and it can be very personal, and it can be very local, and that's an experience I've been lucky to have several times in the last 10 years. Now that I can, now that we're in year 10, I can say that yet again. I have more evidence of the various pockets of possibility that exist here within this project, having relocated geographically a few times. And on that note, I want to just give a quick shout out to the old Chicago crew, who I missed this year and also last year, because we didn't do any meetups last year with all the lockdowns going on and just the state of affairs. But some of the regulars like Matt Corey, Wes Freeman, Jordan Martin, Bob, the late great Richard Weil, of course, who
rest in peace, amazing guy. Earlier. Yeah.
And plenty more. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention you this time around. And I also want to give a shout out to all the folks I've been lucky to meet so far who have been coming to the European time zone meetup that I've been hosting since September. That's Mary Farrell, Hannah Linden, Mark Bowell, Susanna Margano, Caroline Davies, Unia Denker, Jackie Lubeck, Api and Tan in the Czech Republic, Lee Mast, and also Stanley Saber, who is in New Mexico, but joining us on European time fits his schedule a little bit better. And Nancy Carroll, I don't want to forget Nancy either, and a few folks that I haven't met yet, but I hope to soon, Martin Obermeyer, Inka Speckman. So I'm looking forward to connecting more with all you folks who are here on this time zone, and that'll be something for us to do throughout the winter.
Max, there were a lot of shout outs to the Berlin, I guess we're calling it the Berlin time zone, the Europe time zone group. A lot of shout outs in the final words. Make sure you go through and see them all. People loved that gathering, and so did the Chicago people. One quick thing, Max, then we're going to turn to someone on the phone. 10 years. So, did you think, did you ever imagine when we recorded those videos in June of 2012 that we'd still be doing this? Did you have any idea? And what did you think? What did you think this was about?
All of the things that have taken place in the last 10 years, be they in the world or in my personal life or so forth, it would have blown my mind 10 years ago if you had said anything like that. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I can't believe we're in year 10 now. I'm kind of a little boondoggled by it.
You're a little what?
10 years ago into that spring, May, June of 2012, when we were doing this for the first time, I didn't think that people would still be watching, or thousands of people, would still be watching some of those videos a decade later. But here we are. Holy cow.
Are you ever, when you look back at the videos made 10 years ago, are you ever totally embarrassed? I can't believe I said that.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, I very rarely watch them. I watched a bunch earlier this year, and I have trouble rewatching them.
Okay.
But it's more a sort of passing of time thing. That's the hardest part.
Right. Max, you're the best. Thank you so much for doing all of this and being there. It's wonderful to be your friend and colleague. So thank you so much.
Likewise.
And I hope Jane and I decide to come to Berlin for our vacation, so we'll get to see you. And you have a lot of hosting to do if we do that, so be prepared. Thanks, Max. We're going to turn to Luna on the phone. I think Luna is on the phone. Chris, yes?
That's right, Al.
Okay. Bring Luna up. Hello, Luna. Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Where are you? Where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, nice. Oh, one of these days you'll get in your car or on a train and come see us in Philly, yeah?
Yes, hopefully, yes.
Okay, great. Well, do you have a final word for us?
Yes. Well, first I just want to thank everyone because just to be able to even though it's virtually and all these old videos, just to meet with everyone, it really feels like I'm in it right there, and everyone is so passionate, and it's just incredible. So to have that environment and to have that space is, first I just want to thank everyone for that because it's my first time and it's been amazing. And something I took, I guess, from this course is, especially in week 7, we are really focusing on that, is kind of just the dailiness and beauty in everyday life, and looking out and looking at things differently. And that's something that I've been starting to do. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Luna. Year 1. And so do you have room in your schedule for year 2? Can you hang on with us?
I want to. I'm going to try.
Okay. We want you to try. And besides, even if you don't do a lot of it, you can just come into the site, and pick out a poem, and try ModPo Plus, or just watch a webcast. Stay with us, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Luna.
Thank
Great.
you so much.
All right, bye-bye. That was Luna from New Jersey. All right. I'm going to read something that Miranda Jubb has written for the final words thread, and then I'd like to turn to Erica Kaufman for a final thought. So this is what Miranda wrote. This is Miranda's second year. This year, I am beginning to realize that it is in the people that ModPo can really be found. In having someone some many, some hyphenated many exclamation point in parentheses, and having someone, some many, to share it with when a line is especially beautiful or a phrase is puzzling or something exciting occurs to me. And in being surprised and delighted and touched at all those things when shared by others. This year, I feel like I have truly made some friends, and I can't wait to keep talking about poetry with them in SlowPo, and of course next year in ModPo 2022. Thank you, Miranda Jubb. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to turn to Erica Kaufman.
Thank you. So I wrote down my final words, so bear with me. I'm just going to read what I wrote.
Please do.
So I think this is my 9th year in ModPo, 8th as part of these little boxes that we see on the screen. And this year I found myself excitedly lost between the main syllabus and Plus, and really grateful for Zoom office hours and being able to discuss some of the poems which are new to me in really wonderful and generative company. And to mention a couple of the new things to me, I'll say that I was particularly excited by and moved by the work by Jordan Abel, C.D. Wright's One Big Self, Nanao Sakaki, Elise Cohen, Fred Waugh, and many others. And I wanted to end my final words by reading a very short quote by the writer Atel Adnan, who passed away yesterday. And it's from an interview with her titled Thinking as a Form of Poetry. And this is a quote that I think encapsulates a lot of what I experienced this year in the richness of the conversations that technology has now enabled us to have as part of the course. So this is Atel Adnan. Poetry originates through perception and is really about perception, something that's another aspect of poetry that is part of your everyday life. Two people can read the same line. One will say it's poetry and the other, no, it's just information. Sure, it's information in both cases, but there are different responses. Poetry isolates something and makes it mysterious. And again, that's Atel Adnan, who's someone very important to a number of the folks we read in ModPo. And again, thank you. I'm endlessly grateful to be a part of this project.
Thank you, Erica. We feel the same way about you. And that's quite a loss. I've been just observing the reactions of people to Atel's passing yesterday on social media and elsewhere. And Lainey and I both jotted down thinking as a form of poetry. I think that's what you wrote down, right? It is profound and moving to think that, because that we keep struggling in this course to think, how can the global collaboration that's going on here, the kind of mutual collaborative interpretation, be thought of as as poetic? Well, that line says it, right? Thinking as a form of poetry. This is what we do together. And so that's perfect. Thank you. And Erica Kaufman Day was last Wednesday. It was so much fun. That was so much fun. Thank you. I believe we have someone on the phone, and then I'm going to read Anna's final word, and then we'll turn to Allie Castleman. So, who do we have on the phone?
Yes, we have Lisa Geisler calling in from California.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Al. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
It's like winning a prize. It's like winning a prize.
I know, getting through to Chris. I know, everybody wants to talk to Chris. You know, you are a superstar CTA. Thank you for all your work as a community TA. Fantastic. I didn't know you. Where in California are you?
I'm in Northern California at the start of the Sacramento Delta.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
like 60 miles east of San Francisco.
East and a little south, I imagine, yeah? Wow, that's great. Okay. No, it's just east.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it's too early for me to know that.
Yeah, it is early. Not that early. So maybe
for me, it's early.
For you, that's fine. Maybe you will get in your car and come and see us in Los Angeles in February. We'd like that.
Yeah, train. It would be a train.
There's a train that runs from the Sacramento Valley down to LA. Love it. Fantastic.
Well, yeah, we got to take a train and then a bus and then a train, so it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's California, you know.
It's a
we
big
don't.
state, yeah.
The car culture took over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I want to get to my favorite final words. I just want to say how much I love the webcasts. They're just an incredible thing. I feel such a part of a community, even if I'm unable to participate much that week in the threads, to get to the, to watch the webcast with everybody. It's an incredible thing. So I want to give a big shout out to that. And I love that that office hours had Zoom this year. That's incredible. So I want to give a shout out to that. And also, I just love ModPo because it's an intellectual space that is where love and community is seriously encouraged. So to bring those two things together in this world is a beautiful thing. So big shout out to you and the TAs and Chris and Zach and everybody else who makes that possible. I have two more. I want to give a shout out to the Global Study Group. I love you, everybody in that group. Thank you so much. And a big shout out to Erica Kaufman Day. What a great day that was.
Yay.
And that's it.
Thank you, Lisa. I love that you use the word love. Why not? Let's not be shy about it. There is a lot of love in this community.
Exactly.
And you're getting a heart.
There is.
You're getting a heart from Erica. I don't think you can see that. Your view may not include it, but maybe it does now. Anyway, you're getting a heart from all of us. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for all the work you do for this community.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a good day. See you
year.
in L.A. All right. That was Lisa Geisler's extraordinary CTA. I'm going to read Anna Strong Safford's final thoughts. Typed in between classes at her high school, Episcopal Academy. I can hardly say it. And then we're going to turn to Allie Castleman. Oh, thank you, she writes. I wish I could join, but I have to go teach in 10 minutes. Please convey my sadness that I could not be more involved this year. The ModPo-shaped hole in my life is rather vast, as it turns out, even though I couldn't be there for most webcasts or read essays or be in the forums nearly as much as I would like. I was always thinking about you all. I also got to put all the ModPo teaching we've done in the last 10 years into practice in my high school classroom. Imagine that. I got to introduce 32 juniors to Walt and Emily, and I hope show them how these wide open poems can come alive in the reading and the study and the discussion of them. We even did The Brain Within Its Groove on a day we were interrupted by a fire drill, of all things. Oh my gosh, it's not a flood, but a fire drill. And it served as a surprisingly perfect and apt way to concretize the swerve. So no matter how far I physically am from the writer's house, this experiment, this teaching, this community is always at the top of my mind. And I can't thank you all, especially you, Al, for making me the kind of teacher who could do this work, all caps, with high school kids. I'm so happy in this new job. Much as I miss you all, and I'm doing well here because of what I learned from you. That's Anna. Fantastic. Lots of love to Anna. And I just wish I could be a fly on the wall of that classroom. Wouldn't that be great? Be amazing to see. We're going to turn to Allie Castleman and then back to the phone. I think we have someone on the phone. Not yet. Okay, so it's going to be 610-616-3208. Allie Castleman, final thoughts. Hello, Allie.
Hi. I just want to kind of give an update on the chat, the YouTube chat, which is just like a lot of love and snaps and appreciation for everyone who's given a final word, whether they've called in or are on the Zoom right now. Beth C said, "Oh, all of this is so wonderful and so much what my heart needs today, soaking up all the love and connection." And I think that just kind of encapsulates what's going on in the chat. So I'm grateful to have kind of been gotten to kind of be a fly on the wall of the chat and participate there sometimes. It's such a dynamic part of what's happening in ModPo every week. And I want to give just a thank you and a shout out to the people who I was lucky enough to talk to in my office hours. So we have Hannah, Anthony, Denny, Ray, Sally, Meredith, Tomasini, and then some new folks and faces who I got to actually hang out with during Zoom office hours, which has been so fun. So big thank you to Margaret, Vijaya, Allison, and Martha. And I'm also, it's always great every year to come back to the kind of ModPo TAs and crew and hang out on just to see you all in webcasts. And it's been really great getting to know Kate better, Knar, although she's not here right now, Lainey. Thank you all so much for just adding to the amazingness that is always going on. And then I'll just end reading something that Rahana Ismail wrote in the forums, in the kind of final word forums. And this is an abridged version, but I thought it was really lovely and kind of describing the pace and kind of like care that goes into this whole project. And I think she's talking about the forums here. For me, it was like writing letters. Because of the time zone, I have answers in the morning to the questions I post the previous day. We mull over one poem for days, one word for days. The engagement is astonishing, and we recognize that every angle is significant, so every person is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, Allie. And Rahana, I'm actually, for my final words, going to quote Rahana again because it was such a great post. Allie Castleman, you are always a breath of fresh air. Your responses never get old. It's as if you're seeing everything for the first time. I just love that attitude. I think we all do. So Allie Castleman, take a bow. Snaps for Allie. 10 years working with Allie, plus whatever it is. I don't know. We must have worked for 2 years before that together somehow. It's great to know you. Always great to know you. Thank you. That's Allie Castleman. Okay, and the number is 610-616-3208. There seems to be a lull. I heard from T. De Los Reyes this morning. T is okay with me sharing that she has been struggling a lot. She's been participating behind the scenes, and she wrote a long final word for me, for my eyes, and then we agreed that this is the part I would share from T. This is T to everyone. I have loved poetry ever since I can remember. I've said this countless times over the years. We have been friends. But I want to thank you again for holding space for people like me, wounded and hurting, a feral thing looking for a home. If there is someone out there right now who is in the same situation as I am, I hope they discover the community and the family that we have created here in ModPo. Since 2012, ModPo has been saving me, and what a cherished gift it is to have that soft place to land time and time again, all throughout the year and always. Thank you from the deepest recesses of my heart. And that's from our dear friend T. I know that some of us are in touch with T a lot. I know Lily is. And T, if you're watching this, 13 hours different in the Philippines, and I think you probably are. We want you always to be part of us, and we want you to call on us if you need anything. You're very, very shy about asking for help, but why not? We owe so much to you for your involvement, your time, your participation, your energy, and your incredible intelligence. So T, we're with you. We are that family, so it's not just a metaphor. Thank you, T. Snaps for T. All right, so let us turn to Jason. Jason, I'm going to pause for a second and just read something that Sherrod Tan wrote, and then we'll turn to you, Jason. In the final thoughts, I love these this particular one, Sherrard Tan, T-A-N. I think many of you have encountered Sherrard. Literature always felt a little didactic during my school education, where teachers discuss a little but tend to propagate a certain reading that desperate students lap up and vomit out for exams. But ModPo and its community really helped me see how open poems can be and how the possibilities to dwell in are endless. I love the open, casual discussion video formats, the discussion forums where anyone can post anything and have it discussed seriously, the webcasts that I can't believe happen every year, the essays that are peer-reviewed for their strengths and gaps in thinking but never graded with a number. Really grateful for everyone who keeps ModPo alive. The community is easily the best part of this, joining with everyone through its roots and branches in a dynamic, recurring performance of some sort. Look forward to the years ahead with ModPo Plus. That's Sherrard Tan. Lovely, lovely comment. Jason Zuska, make some butter for us, pal.
Well, it's been an amazing ModPo season, and I was just thinking about what this webcast is called, Final Words, and thinking about how ModPo teaches us to read that poetically and to know that that words are not ever final, that they always echo forward and become more than they were when first imagined. And that I really want to thank Lainey for being an incredible co-convener of us, and her taking care of we TAs has been really lovely to experience. And let's see what else. And I want to thank, and I loved being able to have Zoom office hours this season. I made a lot of, new close friends, and I just want to thank some of the people who have visited: Allison, Kat, Shantin, Margaret, Matt, Jason, Emer, Sylvia, Denny, Larry. And they have each time taught me much more about the poems that were, or not taught me, they have provoked me and moved me to understand the poems in new and unexpected ways. I also want to thank there's a ModPo Philly group, which has been meeting on Zoom for once a month for the last, since the last time we met in person from COVID. And if anybody wants to, is in the region and wants to join the Philly group or wants to join us on Zoom, you can email me at jasonzuska@gmail.com, and you can email me about anything you want. And I guess I would just say, to close up, try if you can to read John Cage's book, Silence, which we've mentioned. Read Yona Harvey's ModPo Plus poem. Tell others about ModPo. Try to bring in 1 to 2 people per year, in addition to yourself. Have a poetry practice. Write and read, and don't be shy or hold back in either. Feel yourself as existing in a community of support and in a community of language. And I just wanted to close by reading one of the poems from ModPo Plus by Gary Snyder, which I think is somewhat apropos. And it's Gary Snyder's What You Should Know to Be a Poet. So what you should know to be a poet. All you can know about animals as persons, the names of trees and flowers and weeds, the names of stars and the movement of planets and the moon, your own six senses with a watchful, elegant mind, at least one kind of traditional magic, divination, astrology, the book of changes, the tarot, dreams, the illusory demons and illusory shining gods. Kick the ass of the devil and eat shit. Fuck his horny, barbed cock. Fuck the hag and all the celestial angels and all maidens perfumed and golden. And then love the human, wives, husbands, and friends, children's games, comic books, bubblegum, the weirdness of television and advertising, work long, dry hours of dull work swallowed and accepted, and lived with and finally loved, exhaustion, hunger, rest, the wild freedom of the dance, ecstasy, silent solitary illumination, ecstasy, real danger, gambles, and the edge of death.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for reading that, and thank you for everything, for being you, Jason. You really should look through the final words thread, because there's a lot of Jason shout-outs in there. Everybody adores you, and rightly so. Thank you. Snaps for Jason. Yeah. We did have someone on the phone. Yeah.
Yes, Al. Just passing a note along. It was Anthony Watkins calling in. He was on the road driving in his car in Florida, and he wanted to focus on driving. So he just passed along a message to say this was one of the best years yet of ModPo. It's getting better all the time. And
It's so Anthony. He's really ultimately the best ModPoer and also incredibly bashful, and he's always driving places. Amazing.
Yes.
Hi, Anthony. I know you're listening on the road. Please focus on the road. Was there something else, Chris, you're going to add?
He just put in a bid for, we all have suffered some Zoom fatigue over the past year or two, but he said the Zoom office hours were incredibly great.
Okay,
and
great.
we'd love to see that continued in the future.
Great. Thank you, Anthony Watkins. Another chance to thank him. And while we're at it, I want to, in a second, I love Chris is just answering phone. He says, "Hello, ModPo webcast. Can I help you? This is Chris." Yeah, my washing machine is really late. Do you have some kind of supply chain issue? Can you fix that? Sorry, you called the wrong place. I wanted to shout out. What am I doing? I wanted to shout out to Matt Lutwin. I don't know if that's exactly how. Matt's superstar rookie, unbelievable. Everybody loves Matt. I also want to shout out to Kat McCready, who is way, way far away in Australia, I believe. And yeah, Lainey, was there something?
I was just going to say I had something from Matt that I wanted to.
Please.
From the final words, beautiful post, but just a sentence. Poetry deserves the best, and it's getting it.
And it's getting it. Matt is so great. So Matt and Kat and Anand Kosri from Mumbai, also shout out to Anand. There are others who are second and third year. I believe all three of those are first years, and just wanted to shout out to them. We really, really appreciate them. There's someone on the phone, but I think I want to give Amber Rose a little heads up for a final thought, final word from Amber Rose after we come back. So, Chris, are we ready for this person on the line? No, we're not. Okay, I'm going to quote from Shantin. There's Amber Rose. I'm going to quote from Shantin before we tee up Amber Rose. Shantin, who visited us last week and has been very active, wrote a long post that I recommend in the thread, but here's part of it. My intellectual confidence that was decimated in grad design school has definitely received a nice boost thanks to all of you wonderfully kind and non-judgmental people and teachers of ModPo. Thank you can't capture the feeling I had last week as I had the tear-filled realization that this community of poetry lovers who believe in each other, who believed in me, gave me such hope about humanity and about my own future. And that's Shantin. Thank you so much, Shantin. We're really glad that you're part of this community. Amber Rose Johnson, we are glad you are part of this community. So glad. What do you want to say? The floor is yours.
Hello, good people. I am so grateful for you all. I think, because I had a little bit of a scare a couple weeks ago, I've just been really meditating on gratitude. And I realized after, I think the week after, immediately after the accident, I wasn't on the webcast. But then the following week, I was like still concussed, still out of it, still like couldn't quite look at a screen, happily canceled all other meetings. And yet I was like, oh, but I want to come on the ModPo webcast, even if only for a few minutes. And that alone, says so much, that like in a moment of a lot of challenge for me, I wanted to come on and just be with y'all and see y'all for a few minutes and be seen. And that speaks volumes, not just to the class, but I'm especially like just giving so much love to the other TAs. As much as I miss being around that table and being able to supply the homies with snacks and tea right before our ModPo webcast, I have definitely appreciated how the Zoom format has allowed us as TAs to engage with each other differently. Our chat, our threads, just the ways that we're able to kind of talk and be with each other in this new platform has been really nice. I want to give a shout out to Erica, who is so brilliant and so generous. Erica, we don't talk enough one-on-one, but I really am so appreciative of you. And especially because I think every year in ModPo, Erica, you've like given me something that has really helped me take my own work and thinking and dissertation writing further. Erica's good for a quick PDF to some gem of an essay that I've never heard before. Like Erica is good for the deep digs. And I think the last one you dropped on me was Adventures in the Life of a Social Poet by Langston Hughes, which has been such a comfort to me in trying to stay with writing about the hard things. I want to give a quick shout out to Lainey also. Lainey, who stepped in this year into like a big role and sitting at a big table next to Al, who is so casual in his pedagogy and yet is so intense and so brilliant that I could imagine sitting next to him at that table and having to kind of co-host, definitely, call something forward. And Lainey, you've done such a fantastic job and have asked us really brilliant questions, and it's been great to see you kind of getting more confident in the role, and I'm super excited about what is going to happen moving forward. And the last bit of my final word, I also want to quickly touch on a poem that's in ModPo Plus. I also felt like this year I was able to really spend a lot more time with ModPo Plus. I found myself trusting myself a little bit more coming into the webcast, which meant that I had more time to sort of do browsing before we started. And there's the poem in everyone knows that my favorite week is Language Week, week 9. But there's a poem in ModPo Plus that I had never read before, and it's called Care by Ray Almontrout. And care is really where I'm at, thinking through how we care for each other. I think everything that's happening in the world has just been asking me to deepen my meditation on care. So really quickly, here's Ray Almontrout, Care. Dress like you care. Eat like you care. Care like you care. You don't think apples just grow on trees, do you? A fish taps a clam against a bony knob of coral to crack its shell, which demonstrates intelligence, yes, but is the fish pleased with itself? Alone in your crib, you form syllables. Are you happy when one is like the other? Add yourself to yourself. now you have someone.
Oh my gosh, Amber Rose Johnson, thank you for that. Thanks Ray for that, for caring so much, caring about caring. Amber Rose, you're the best, and we all, if we were praying people, we'd be praying for very speedy. What's the opposite of concussion? Uncussion. Decussion.
Yeah.
Decussion.
Whatever it is.
You're the best. We love having you with us, and thank you for those beautiful words. So that's Amber Rose Johnson. There's some snaps in the YouTube chat for Amber Rose, I'm sure. We're about to take a call, but before we do, I want to ask Lily if there's anything in Twitter to look at, and then also Allie and Max if there's anything we have to report from the YouTube chat, and then we're going to go to the phone. Lily, anything happening in Twitter?
Some of our friends are waking up with us here. It's been kind of quiet, but our Sophia Naz, Shantin, Ray, Maria Berg, and Anthony Risser, and a person named Janu Hani have all chimed in to give their final words. But I want to throw it to Janu Hani, who said, I finished ModPo this year, really happy. So we're proud of you, Janu, and great job finishing ModPo this year. And
Thanks.
Hi to our old friends.
Thanks, Lily. Yeah, that was great. I'm glad there's some folks in Twitter. Allie and then Max, anything to report from the crazy gang there in the chat?
A lot of just people wishing Amber Rose well and a quick recovery. So a lot of love going out to you, Amber Rose.
Fantastic. And Max? There's a wounded heart. Look at that wounded heart. Oh, man.
There was also appreciation earlier for Jason's final words from the crew. And Paige Polstein has made a few comments in the last couple of minutes or so saying every teacher should take ModPo, so much to learn about pedagogy here. And then Paige also said that she's been gathering some of the fun subtitle snafus from the webcasts this year. So there's a potential for a blooper reel of some sort.
Oh, no. I love that idea. Yeah, when I first met Paige early on, I don't know, second year of the course, third, in LA, in person, she told me she'd been teaching online for years at that point, preceding ModPo, and we proceeded to talk about how important it was to be teaching online then and now, of course. And Paige has been updating us on what she's learned from ModPo. As she revamped her online teaching because of ModPo. So that's great. Thank you. Okay, we have someone on the phone, and after that, I would like to turn to Zach Cartner for a final word. He's going to have to get it together, abandon all hope of good camera work so he can be articulate. No, Zach can do two things at the same time, I'm sure. So, who do we have on the phone, Chris Martin?
Yes, a long-distance call. We have our longtime ModPoer, Diana, calling from Switzerland.
Oh, my. Diana, hello. How are you?
Hi, Al. There's a delay, so I'm having a hard time watching you and talking to you.
What I suggest you do is to don't look at the webcast visual. Just listen to me on the phone, and we'll be in sync.
Okay, we're in sync.
And this is Diana Aubert, and we met in person in Prague. Yep. And that was a long time ago.
I just jumped on a plane with my son, and off we went to see you.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Wait, you took a plane from Switzerland to Czechoslovakia, to the Czech Republic. That was cool. Good move.
Just to meet up.
I remember it was so much fun. We went out for drinks twice and had lunch.
Yes.
Oh, how are you?
And I've been a ModPoer ever since. It saved my life. I wouldn't exchange poetry for the latest fashion or for any historical documents like the Old Testament.
Whoa, that's high praise, Diana. Well, you really loaded that up. Yes, I remember that we talked a lot about, and you're not exaggerating, ModPo saved your life. We don't we don't need to go into the details, but it's a fact. I think everybody should know that ModPo was there at the right moment for you. So I always think about that.
For so many people, I think it's a lifesaver. But not only a lifesaver, it brought poetry into our lives, and that's what saved us. And I'm, into poetry every day, in every way.
Great. I am going to say, remember Jane? Jane was with us, my wife Jane. I'm going to say hello. She asks about you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, dear
Please say
pal.
hello to her and to your daughter.
And Hannah was there too.
She was there also.
That's right. We had about 30 people show up for a meetup in Prague, including someone from Scotland and someone from Israel. And what the heck? That was so much fun. That was crazy. Well, we are always, and we went to a museum together too. I remember. We will always be in touch, Diana. Thank you. Call on me anytime you need anything. Okay.
Will do.
All right.
Do, Al.
Love you
and,
so much. Take care.
Blessings to ModPo and your whole team.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Bye.
That's Diana in Switzerland. How about that? Oh man, this is good. Zach Cartner, come on, pal. Turn the camera on yourself. Cool. Zach's got the gray cap on.
Yeah. So I think. I was thinking the opposite of a concussion might be a procussion.
Procussion? Okay.
And I think maybe if there's one thing ModPo has taught me is that 10 years is not so different from 10 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah, deep.
Fucking profound. And then he hands the mic back to Chris. Zach, I just want to stipulate here that, and Lainey and I can see it very directly, all the time, that what these two do is pretty much unprecedented in the world of MOOCs. And because of what we learn in ModPo, the Writers' House, for its regular programs, benefits as well. We were so ready for a pandemic. It's a funny way to put it. But when the pandemic hit, everything we'd learned from ModPo, just the natural way that we interact remotely, yes, it's part of it is a kind of social adeptness that some of us have, but really that won't do anything. That gets nowhere if we don't have the basic technical innovations that these two, Chris and Zach, have pushed and perfected over time. And I would say that I would almost call it bravery. But really what it is persistence is a kind of beautiful form of bravery. If you're persistent, you don't need to be brave. And so I would say persistence is a form of bravery, is what the two of them have done. And we are the envy of pretty much any kind of, and Chris Martin goes on the road to teach people how we're doing this. We're the envy of most online teaching situations, and certainly of massive open online courses. And Zach and Chris, as witness Zach's final words, which were completely understated and also brilliant, they just do it. They don't take a lot of credit for it. So this is our moment. Even before Chris Martin gets to give his final words, this is our moment everywhere, on Twitter, in the chat, and here in our boxes, to snap our fingers and wave and post hearts and all those things that Zach and Chris make possible. Here in Philly and on the road, especially on the road, holy shit. So thank you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so we are going to turn to Lainey Brown, and I want to preface this, Lainey, with a couple of words. Anna was a TA for 9 years and then moved into this role. It became a full-time role and just kind of slid into it because of all that experience that she'd had already. And you and I are discovering that there's like 100 things that she has done that you and I, not just you, but you and I have adapted to and figured out. Not to mention that the four of us, the team here, Zach and Chris and you and I, meet every week, and we've got all kinds of projects we're working on that are very excited. But you are such a natural, obviously. I've been reading your poetry as a reverent reader for years. Bringing you on is a dream come true. I mean, this is quite an amazing situation. I'm so happy you said yes to it, even before quite figuring out what it was going to be. And I think of you as an incredibly interesting combination of modest and hammy at the same time.
Interesting.
You can be kind of a ham, and I think that's great. You need that for these ridiculous webcasts. But you're also essentially a modest person, almost shy, I would say. So thank you for sort of bringing your shyness to the situation and not overcoming it, but making it part of the thing that works. You're also so incredibly responsive. You listen really well, which is what we need here, because in ModPo, everybody's chattering away in various places, and so you have to become a good listener. So thank you for being my partner in this project now, and I hope for many years to come. And congratulations on making it through the first ModPo, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So it's your floor.
Thank you so much. I'm feeling really overwhelmed by all the love everywhere, in the threads, in the forums, and between the boxes on the screen, and this way and that way, and the team and everybody here. I mean, I've been part of this community for about 10 years since I've lived in Philly and started teaching here, and peripherally involved in ModPo, dipping my toe in. But I really had no idea the amazingness of the community I was jumping into, and every day it's becoming more and more clear, and I'm just so grateful, and also staggered and astounded every day by the just the brilliant insights that are offered by all of the TAs and all of the mentors and all the participants, and in this physical space, everybody that's helps the magic happen. So yeah, gratitude. I wanted to read a little bit from a couple forum posts, just pulling out snippets from the final words. So Maria Menervini writes, "The wonderful thing that I'm really grateful for is that I've learned that a poem that I found impenetrable at first reading should not be abandoned, and that with close reading and listening to the videos and reading accompanying texts, I can enter the poem and be astounded, admire, and love as much as the poems I might feel an immediate connection with. This is a marvelous revelation." So I just love that observation that what might happen in the first encounter with the poem is not necessarily indicative of what's going to happen as we spend time. And Junia Denker writes, "This course was also the first time I experienced close readings that were not focused on finding as many stylistic devices as possible, or forced me to discover the one true meaning of a poem. Instead, you opened my eyes to reading a text from a personal rather than exclusively academic perspective, which, especially in times of a pandemic, helped me feel less alone." Just a really beautiful thought. So many recovering scholars here, right? And
what does recovering mean? Seriously.
You know, I didn't know this was a location for recovering scholars, but I know many recovering scholars. I guess it means that damage was done in conventional modes of learning that have more authoritative or hierarchical structures and underlying assumptions.
It's what Junia was talking about in that post.
Yeah.
You know, like academia beat out of her, that's the wrong word, pushed out of her the idea that she should make forays and venture into meaning rather than chase after the one that she was expected to learn, period. Mm-hmm. That can do a lot of damage to somebody.
So we have to unlearn.
Yeah.
So this is a space where we can reimagine and just be in conversation and realize that, or remember that poetry belongs to everyone. You know, it's not for just a few or just somebody with some credentials, right? So I like to be reminded of that.
Yeah. Well, I think that you bring to ModPo already great skills as a listener. That just happened in life, fortunately, or maybe you just were given good ears. But to thrive in ModPo means to listen really carefully, or read as a form of listening, to what 1,000 voices are saying.
Or 60,000 voices.
Or 60,000. And so that is the key. So people always say, how do you guys do it? It's amazing. How do you do it? And the answer is really, simplest answer is, if you listen to what people have to say, you will inevitably find something really smart and interesting and new. And if you have a hunger for that newness, then the incentive escalates and you want to listen better and more. So the first time you do it out of politeness, and the nth time you do it because it's going to save your life to hear something new. And that's why listening actually is not a matter of social etiquette. Listen, make sure you don't just step on someone's lines, your parent tells you. Just listen, wait a beat before you say what's on your mind. And then the next thing is you wait a beat and you say something different in response to what's just been said. And that is making meaning socially. Thank you, Lainey Brown.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you. Fantastic. Lainey Brown snaps everywhere, please. Hey, Lainey Brown. Thank goodness for Lainey Brown. TGILB. That's what I say. Jake Marmer is here. Then we have Chris Martin for a final thought, and then I have my final thought. So, Jake Marmer, you have come to us to the rescue. Whatever it was, what was the meeting you had that you had to do instead of? You don't even want to tell us, right?
Work really gets in the way of life and poetry sometimes. But anyway. I don't know, final words. I guess I wanted to say that one of my resolutions and thoughts for this year is a strong desire to learn more poetry by heart. I feel like I've been just reading, and certain lines stick out, and I want to remember. I want to sit with poems, and I want to just slowly memorize them. I've been typing out poems that I'm reading by others that I like, or trying to write bits of them as to some kind of other interpretive mode. So it's not so just imbibing text in slightly different ways and living with them and just repeating them orally in different contexts. That's my final thought.
And can you recite one of those memorized poems, or am I putting you on the spot? Lily looks up like, Al, you did it again. You're so rude. Go ahead. Recite a poem. You say you just memorized some.
So this one has been on my mind, and it's a very short piece, and it's by Samuel Menashe. He was a wonderful New York poet that I met at some years ago, and he received the Neglected Masters Award, which was made specifically for him. He was a great character. These really short, tense, terse poems, and this one is called Apotheosis. Taught with longing, you must become the God you've sought, the only one.
Oh, I love that. Do it again, please. I want to hear it again.
All right. Apotheosis. Taught, like the line is taught with longing, you must become the God you've thought, the only one.
That's great. I love that use of taught, T-A-U-T. You're taught, man. Thank you, Jake Marmer. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Chris Martin, final thought from Chris Martin. Hey.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris, for everything you've done.
Oh,
always.
No problem, Al. No problem.
Do you remember when I first approached you in the kitchen of the writer's house? You were looking for something in the refrigerator. I remember we were standing by the refrigerator. I said, Chris, I have a little project I want to get you into.
A little project,
yes. A little tiny project.
That's how this all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday, Al. And I started here in an IT role in 2011, and ModPo is not yet a thing. And everything was about to change. I was on the doorstep. I didn't know I was at the door. But the point is that I'm an IT person. I do a lot of different things besides just ModPo. You know, it's a lot of, you know, all sorts of things. Lots of mundane things some days. You know, fixing jammed printers or fixing Wi-Fi issues or things like that.
Like when somebody says, Chris, come see me. My printer isn't working. And you get there and you say, well, it would help to plug it in.
Yeah, that's my
There's a little bit of that, right?
That's one of my specialties for sure. But to get to work on ModPo is just so cool. Like, as a technology person, to get to use technology for something like a project like this at the university here is just amazing to be a part of. To use technology to bring together this community, to host these webcasts each year, and to like, for me, it's fun. This is the fun part of my day, to just get to come up with cool ways to bring together this community and to put on these shows, and to come up with new and interesting ways to present the material. It's a lot of fun for me, and it's really meaningful. This is, when I talk about what I do here at Penn, this is one of the first things I always talk about when I'm describing it to anybody. So it's a true honor, and I'm just grateful so many people around the world have taken part in it, and it's so nice to get to talk to you on the phone. And yeah, I can't believe we're still here all these years later doing it, and doing it better than ever, I like to think. So,
Chris Martin, the best, so agreeable, so willing, so game, so persistent in the sense of what was the word? Bravery that I was talking about earlier. It's just amazing. I think that he took over the phone call answering from Anna or Lily, not just because Lily and Anna were tired of it, but because Chris secretly wanted to be talking to all these people. He often sometimes just is chatting away. I'm like trying to get his attention. Do we have someone on the phone? No, Al, I'm catching up with so-and-so.
So true.
My final word is really going to be Rahana Ismail's final word. I just want to read something that she wrote. I'm so grateful to Rahana. Rahana came to every one of my office hours by Zoom. She's in India, different time zones. So it was a good afternoon thing for her, 8 a.m. for me. And she always brought her daughter, lovely daughter, and little kid, maybe I would guess 11 or 12 or 13 years old. And they are doing ModPo together. And this is what Rahana writes. We have talked about homeschooling, languaging, divorce, and domesticity, privilege, and picture books, along with sounds and segregation. We have talked about Greek wives, grandmothers, and vacations we plan to make. If I say that the candor and camaraderie among us is something I have never seen anywhere else, I know that Vijaya will agree. Vijaya is also originally from India, but currently in the west coast of the U.S. I know that Vijaya will agree because she has made that point in the YouTube chat, and I know what she is talking about. I have been a part of poetry groups where, in spite of years of sessions, people know nothing of each other's lives. Poetry is as intimate as it can get, so the calculated distance astounds me. This group, in spite of being so vast numerically, geographically, and socially, is one place I can leave my reserved corner and talk. I can rely on Margaret to bring up the most pertinent questions, on Miranda to bring in the meta-poetic and meta-pedagogical reading, on Hannah to patiently type out long replies to my queries and to write responses and poems, response poems to save the chat history and to save the chat history, on Kat to draw attention to points missed, on Lynn, who graciously provided the link to Dante in Italian. I loved it. On Dave and Denny to talk about self being languaged for 1.5 hours. I'm guessing that was in Jason's Zoom, which go on for 5 or 6 hours. I want to go on and on, says Rahana. Thank you. I know this is nothing like sitting around a coffee table and talking our heads off, but this is as close as I'm going to get to it. We have coffee and the current that makes it crackle. I have attended other MOOCs And I know it's superfluous to say that ModPo is different. Still, I want to. I had a lot of misconceptions when I first came to ModPo. I can't believe that I thought that ModPo Plus was paid. Isn't that how the world rolls? You have ABC to trace and to unlock the rest of the alphabets, whip out your credit card. I was glad that the main syllabus had hours and days of videos, and I thought it was generous of ModPo to provide them free of cost, so my plan was to finish the main syllabus and then pay and take ModPo Plus. Also, there is no course where you post a technical issue and 3 people jump in right away to solve it for you. That is literally true, by the way. Is there any other MOOC where you can interact with the instructor and the TAs? Not that I know. You make us feel seen. We are part of the pantomime, among the graffiti of noise. Every voice addressed, a pause, a rose, something on paper, every petal on the wet black bough, the pepper and light and salt and night and cargoes, tens of thousands of drops, plenty pebbles in the gravel drive, the sharp-hoofed moose on the north, the cat on the house sill, the chickadee, the prairie dog, the brood of the turkey hen, and she with her half-spread wings who talk continuously 70 hours from park to pad to bar to Bellevue to museum to the Brooklyn Bridge. This is the place where the floods have slit the hills, where we address nature without check, with original energy, and we meet as far from the world as agreeing with it. Thank you for this space to come upon again. I don't think I could have said it any better. Rahana, you really got it. You're a rookie who got it. You totally got what we're all about. And the only thing I want to say in conclusion of this session, this webcast, and this season is to seize on this expectation that you had that if you got to ModPo Plus, you'd have to pay for it. So often, someone comes up with an idea to monetize ModPo. Because wouldn't that work? Because the Writer's House, you know, there's a lot of effort here. I mean, Chris Martin's always coming up with software he wants to buy, and we have to pay for it. Sorry, you're not the main expense, Chris. Monetize it. You can monetize it. People will watch. You have eyeballs. Yeah, the suggestion from many people, including people in online learning here and also people at Coursera, was, well, if it's a big success, just make ModPo Plus another course and you can charge for it. We're one of the few courses that doesn't charge. So not only aren't we doing it, but we say adamantly, no, that's not the point. That's the opposite of the point. It would be not ModPo if we made people pay for it. The idea that people come and freely invest all this time and energy and haven't paid for it takes the conventional motivation of our era. I mean the capitalist era from 17th century forward, but I also mean the internet era. It takes the whole assumption of incentivizing completely out of the picture. And it proves to each other, such as in these final words, that it is caring for others and love that motivate people to study a syllabus. And you can't pay for that. And if you do pay for that, then it isn't those things. It isn't those values. That is the pedagogy. It has nothing to do with poetry. Amen. It has everything to do with poetry as a reason for convening. So thank you all for convening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for loving. Thank you for being surprised that it's free. Then thank you for appreciating that it's free. Thank you to everyone who has watched, for Allison, Mimi, CJ, Luna, Lisa, and even Anthony, who called but didn't go on the air, and Diana from Switzerland, dear old friend, courage, heart. Thank you. And to the TAs, you know how I feel about you. Oh yeah, we'll be in touch with you in the next couple of months to say, what about ModPo 2022? What can I do to twist your arm to participate? Some of you don't need any arm twisting. Some of you realize that life is going to get in the way and you stay on and on long past your ability to do it. So thank you for doing that in advance. Thanks to Chris and Zach again. And Lainey, my new partner, thank you so much. I wish all of you a great afternoon. We'll see you in SlowPo. Look out for announcements about the SlowPo activities. They're going to be lots of fun, and we will see some of you in Los Angeles. Otherwise, the rest of you we'll see at ModPo webcast number 1, early September 2022. Bye, everybody.